spend enough time around kids and you quickly remember what it was like to just be creative and expressive. No agenda, no plans, just pure curiosity. Somewhere along the line, our creativity got tied up with productivity and purpose. But watch kids play. Watch them build with blocks and play with trucks and draw in coloring books. They're not trying to achieve anything. There's literally no goal. It is pure presence. In Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, he says that expressing oneself in the world and creativity are the same thing. It may not be possible to know who you are without somehow expressing it. Children are purely present, and presence is not just a mindfulness exercise like we are taught as adults. It's what happens when you're totally engaged in what you're doing. It's being in flow. It's not something that you need to achieve. Being present is the natural state for children. It's what they fall into when they're lost in play. Because their prefrontal cortex and their rational thinking brain doesn't come online until age 7 or 8, they're completely 100% emotion-based creatures from 0 to 7. And that means that they are living in a state of ongoing creativity. But then as adults, we start to develop the ability to reason, and we start to develop the ability to get lost in the future and in the past. And that is when we get completely disconnected from our ability to be present, our willingness to be in a playful state, and our ability to access flow. And because of this ability to get lost in the past and lost in the future, we get so distracted and disconnected. But the thing is, to get back to true presence, it isn't anything that needs to be forced. It actually comes naturally when you are generally interested and involved in what you're doing. Do you notice that? You watch kids and they're playing and they get lost in play for hours. They're not keeping track of time. There's no goal. They're not trying to achieve anything, and they could just do it for hours. We have this ability too, and I'm sure that you have certain hobbies or interests where you lose track of time, but it is harder and harder for us to get into this state as adults. And I think for a lot of people, they don't even have a hobby or an interest that gets them into this state. All of their time and mental space goes to their jobs, their families, all their other obligations, finances, all the different stresses that come from being a responsible adult. And those things rob us of our ability to connect to our imagination and our playful state. When I was visiting my nephews this summer, I remembered what it's like. It's so fascinating to just watch them be completely immersed in what they're doing. And right when they wake up in the morning, they're just so present. They don't even think about what needs to be done today or what are we doing today. They're just fully present. It's almost like incomprehensible. As an adult, you almost can't get yourself into what that actually feels like. To wake up and not even think. You're not even thinking about anything. It's just, I am here. They're like the most spiritually evolved little beings, children, because they're just fully in the present moment, responding to whatever shows up in the moment. As we get older, we put a lot of pressure on creativity and what it means to be creative, and that we need to be original. Watch kids and their creative, playful, joyful energy. They're not trying to be original or worried about being innovative or standing out. They don't care about being unique, and yet they all are inherently so unique if we just fully embrace who we are and stop worrying about how it's going to be received by other people. When you're worried about how you're going to be received by other people, you're going to end up adjusting and manipulating your behavior because you're too wrapped up in other people's perceptions. Kids don't care about that. And in fact, kids will copy other kids. They don't give a shit. They don't feel bad about it. They're not sorry. They're just expressing themselves. If they see someone doing something they like, they copy it. They do it too. Who cares? It's a compliment. They're taking something from someone else and they're remixing it because it's never going to be exactly the same. You shouldn't be offended by someone copying what you're doing. If you are, have a chat with yourself about that because you need to lighten up a little bit. Kids copy each other all the time. They don't apologize for it. I think adults were like obsessed with originality and uniqueness. And this paralyzes creativity before you even get started. So what if you just dropped that expectation? Just do what feels fun and interesting. That's it. Even if it is a derivative of what someone else did, just give it a shot. I'll tell you, when I started recording YouTube videos and working with a coach, I was given a strategy to follow. And I didn't even realize how common this is, that this is actually a strategy that people use. And once you start doing your research, you realize, oh, everybody's doing this. And I never would have thought, but it's basically copying. But it's not, because you're not copying what people are saying necessarily, but you might find a title of a video or thumbnail that has been really successful, and you research it and you see that it's been used many times. It does very well for a large number of creators, especially in comparison to their subscriber count. And it's a strategy. And you could look at it and say, oh, that person copied my idea. But it's like, yeah, they wrote the same title. It's like, it's different content that we're sharing. There are a lot of books with the same titles, okay? It's like, come on. There's only so many words in the English language. Anyways, copying doesn't always mean that you're not offering something unique and new. And I think a big reason why we even worry about whether we're copying someone or not, or how original our content is, because we're really wrapped up in the idea of having an audience and that we are creating for someone. But the antidote to creative burnout is creating without the concept of an audience. Everything that we make nowadays is tied to an audience or an algorithm in this digital age of social media. And we're constantly thinking about how we're going to be received and if it's going to get attention. There is a fear of being judged and what's this audience going to think. Have you ever made something without showing anyone? Just for the hell of it. How did it feel to do that compared to creating under pressure or under scrutiny? Maybe take a break from sharing any of your creative projects, or take a break from sharing them with people that you know. Make something just for yourself. See what happens. That's actually what this channel is for me. This is for me and it's for you. But if I wasn't getting any views on my videos, I'd still be making these videos because I'm really doing this for me, because I'm fulfilling a creative dream that I've had. The other thing is, not everything has to be a huge undertaking with a goal of completing some massive project. If you are really excited about something and you're working on it and you're immersed in it, and after a while, you just lose motivation for it, you're not inspired by it anymore, and you want to go do something else, and you feel like, I have to finish this thing. It's like, no, you don't. It's not a sign of laziness or a lack of follow through. You can explore ideas and give them as much of your time and attention as you need. And eventually your passion and excitement for them may dwindle, and it's okay. You can actually just move on to something else. Do you ever watch kids and you're playing a game and all of a sudden they just get up and leave and they go do something else? They have no concept of the fact that they're involved in a game that has a beginning and an end. Doesn't occur to them. They literally will get up and pick their nose and go start playing with the railroad when you're in the middle of like a dump truck situation. Like, they leave things half done all the time. And it's not because they're quitting. They're just following their curiosity wherever it leads them. They just they're completely aimless. It's adorable. You can reframe your unfinished work as a little breadcrumb trail of all of your different creative interests. And you may find your way back to them eventually, but you don't need to worry about it. There doesn't need to be any pressure associated with it. We need to let go of expertise and rediscover this idea of the beginner's mind. We think that we need to be good at something to enjoy it, but kids don't have any concept of being good or bad at whatever they're creating. They're happy just to make things, regardless of the outcome. Do you notice that? So please do not let this pressure to be an expert or even competent at something, don't let it stop you from enjoying it. Let yourself try new things or revisit old hobbies. I took up rock climbing at the beginning of this year, or like the end of last year. It is so fun to be a beginner, to just totally immerse yourself in something new. And it feels just like play, like you're just being a kid playing outside, climbing rocks. I'm not an expert. I'm brand new. I'm having to do little baby climbs, but they're challenging for me. And I feel so accomplished and proud of myself when I do it, just like little kids are so proud of themselves when they do anything. Try to let yourself connect to that excitement of being a beginner at something and let yourself just enjoy it. Do you notice, especially in the US, so many of the creators and people influencing the space of personal growth, there's such a huge focus on accomplishing things and achieving things and being driven and discipline and being focused and grit. These are all great qualities, but there are other things that are really important to our own fulfillment in life. It's not just all about achievement and this linear, goal-driven mindset. Everything's about efficiency and productivity and expertise and how can I achieve more in less time and optimize this and optimize. It's like, who fucking cares about optimization? What about just being happy? What about just having fun? Like, what about having fun? Can that be one of the main goals? That's children's number one goal. It's just having fun, I would say, if you asked them. They just want, well, I want this to be fun. I want to be enjoying myself. I'll tell you, they're onto something. When you're just worried about efficiency and productivity and optimization, that leaves very little room for playfulness and the curiosity that drives true creativity. If you feel like you've been stuck creatively, try making something today, just for the sake of it. No plan, no goal, just see where it goes. Put your camera up and record a video. Just fucking talk about anything. It doesn't have to be anything big. Set up your photo on a 10-second timer and do a photo shoot of yourself, wherever, and just have fun with it. Put on an outfit that you love and do a photo shoot for yourself. Just go make something. Like, get over yourself and just go play, go make something, go have fun. I don't care how old you are. Get over yourself. You're not impressing anybody by acting mature and acting like an adult and not involving yourself in immature play. Nobody cares how intellectual you are. Nobody cares how driven you are. Nobody cares how goal-focused you are. Nobody cares how productive you are. Like, do you know how to have fun? Do you have fun in your life? Because if you're not having fun, like, what are you actually doing? And coincidentally, usually people who are on an intellectual level dumber, they tend to be better at being present, being in a flow state, and playing. And this is one of their superpowers, and it's what makes them more successful than you. Watch this video next. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.